the one that everybody's looking up to all the time. So they've got this big responsibility on them that they've always got to show up and be strong for everyone
More.
else.
I think they,
Yeah.
do you think they go through more of these kind of issues because they don't talk so openly about their feelings compared to females?
Sorry.
So
So
what's
psychiatrist is basically a person just like a dermatologist or a cardiologist. They've gone through their entire medical journey and
Mhm.
education, and they've decided that they're gonna just do psychiatry, but they focus predominantly on the real brain diseases and mental health
Okay.
such as bipolar, schizophrenia, psychosis, etc. So they have no skill in doing what a psychologist does. They do not have any tools except medical pills that they prescribe to treat medical brain chemical imbalances.
Okay. So within mental health, there are three important people. There's the therapist, there's the psychologist, and then there's a psychiatrist. Okay,
Yeah.
interesting. I didn't know about the all three of them. So good to
The
know.
psychiatrist works totally hand in hand with a psychologist.
Okay. Okay.
The psychologist is the one that gives you the practical day-to-day tools that will help you live a fairly functional life as an adult or a child in society.
Okay, understood. Okay. That's interesting to know. Now, there's another taboo around mental health or within mental health, which is men, when they go through mental health issues, they don't come forward and talk about it, or um, they don't want to talk about it because they're embarrassed, or whatever it is, right? I think in our society, we look at men as these strong people between among the two genders, and they're afraid. I think even just generally, I think it's just not mental health, but I think even when normally men fall sick, they don't really talk about it very fast until it reaches a point where they can't take it. Why is that? And do you have a lot of patients who are men?
Yeah, surprisingly, I'm one of the few psychologists in town that can proudly say that I have more male clients than I do female.
That's amazing. So, which means I think male do open up, and that's really good that they should open up more. I think
Yeah.
do you think they go through more of these kind of issues because they don't talk so openly about their feelings compared to females?
No, I don't think that's what it is. I think everybody goes through these issues at some point in their life. I mean, we've all gone through anxiety, we all go through panic attacks. Okay, depression is on the extreme end. Not all of us go through it.
Yes.
And some of the diseases like bipolar, schizophrenia, complex PTSD or PTSD, stress disorder, etc., is the extreme end of it. But why men don't go through it is you forget that we're a very patriarchal society. We
Yes.
view men as supposed to be the leader of the family,
Absolutely.
supposed
Yes.
to be, the one that everybody's looking up to all the time. So they've got this big responsibility on them that they've always got to show up and be strong for everyone else. They've always got to be stoic. They can't show emotion because if they show emotion, then what will happen to the rest of the family, etc., etc. And that's one of the biggest things that hold men back from coming
Yes.
forward and
Forward.
talking about any of their problems, not just mental
Not
health.
just mental. Yes, absolutely. I completely agree with you.
Um, and many a times they ignore the small things
Correct.
and
I also
say,
feel the same.
right, and say, it's just a cold. I'll work
I'll be
through
okay.
it and
Absolutely.
I'll be fine in a couple of days. I don't need to rest it out and I can be, I can, or I'll sleep early tonight and I'll wake up
And I'll be
okay.
okay.
Yeah. So it's about the society that we live in. Um, and the kind of pressure that the men around us go through. The other thing is that people don't think men are not strong enough. So if a man falls sick, for instance, the first thing a woman will think is like, why are you so weak? You
Yeah.
know?
Yes,
And,
absolutely.
and, and we've done this. I've got people I know who say, oh
Definitely.
God, he's got a man flu and he's behaving like it's the end of the
The
world.
yeah,
And
yes.
yeah, but it's
They're humans
okay.
are also at the end of the day. It doesn't matter whether it's a man or a woman. I think human bodies and I think I said this even in one of my videos that there should be technically no difference between a man and a woman, except for the fact, yes, their general physical appearance definitely is different between the two of them. But in terms of just their feelings, they should be able to open up about what they go through, just like us. They should be able to speak about their problems and their physical challenges or mental challenges, just like a woman can. Why is it that we are able to open up about so much and say and rest at home and say, oh, I'm not feeling well today, so I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that. But a man is expected to do everything irrespective of whatever the case.
That's the thing, right? Like why do we want to minimize what men go through? Just
Absolutely.
because we think that he's a man and he's got to be the leader and he's got to be the strong one all the time. And even when we're raising our sons, those of us that have sons, you'll find a mom saying, "Oh, boys don't cry." And I'm like, why? Why do boys not cry? What's
Boys.
wrong with a boy crying?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
You know, how else is a boy meant to show emotion if he doesn't? Why should crying only be a way of a girl's way of showing emotion? Why should crying be a sign of weakness, for instance?
Absolutely. I think that is even something that people think that, crying is a sign of weakness. But I don't think so. Because in fact, if we look at even in a normal day-to-day life, people end up crying even when they're happy. So does that mean they're weak at that point? They're probably the strongest at that point. I have seen people, cry when they achieve something amazing. So I don't think that's a sign of weakness. And I think a lot of issues and taboo topics and all of this arise because of society and the way society perceives things and sees things, um, the judgments that are passed. I think Gen Zs and millennials, and I think I feel, I could be wrong, but I feel that we are too judgmental sometimes. We get into that whole judgmental circle and bubble, and we're not letting people be the way they want to be. We always want to judge someone, we want to pass a comment on someone. It could be the stupidest thing somebody is doing, but still we want to find something wrong and pass a comment. And I think that is also something that affects you mentally. And then again, it's a cycle. The minute it affects you mentally, but you're not going to talk about your mental thing because you will be like, oh no, I will be judged again. I think that whole cycle just needs to stop somewhere, for us to be
Yeah.
more aware with our mental health.
That, and then also don't forget that we live behind screens. So
Yes.
we hide behind our screens and we post things and we post all these happy pictures and places and lives that are really maybe very small portions and moments of our life and don't really give us the reality of what it is. And then you'll have Prashna on the other side saying, "Oh my God, look at Kushbu. She's traveling everywhere. She's gone through
Yeah.
on 5 holidays this year. And here I am struggling. What am I doing wrong? And, you know, I need to do this better and I need to dress in a certain way, etc., etc." And that puts a lot of pressure on people as well. Peer pressure
Yes.
for this generation and the social media that we're exposed to. It's huge.
It's huge. And I think that is why I asked you in the beginning as well, that do you think that somehow, somewhere, sometimes, due to this peer pressure, due to the social pressure, due to the environmental changes, even, um, a person's health has deteriorated. Like right now, I think I tell people, that people who are probably born, or my father and my grandparents, they have lived up to 90, hundreds, and all of that. I would be even lucky if I reach 50, I say, you know, because I think, I just feel that the life currently that we're living is so different compared to what it was back in the days. Back in the days, there was nothing like competition. Back in the days, you could have a degree and you could get the best jobs. Right now, you have degrees, you have three degrees, and yet you will not be the best in your job. There'll be other hundreds of people competing with you. And I think a lot of people also commit suicide because of peer pressure. That leads to also
Absolutely.
depression.
Yeah. So, yeah, our lifestyle, our peer pressure, the need to belong to certain class,
Yes.
or, I need to, uh, Kushbu goes to Nairobi Street Kitchen or Alchemist every week. Um, I need to be seen there and I need to be in certain clothes and I need to wear certain brands and all that is huge peer pressure on us.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, I
We've
do feel that that
forgotten
is
to accept ourselves for what we are.
absolutely. And I think that's something that people in the 60s and 70s had, that they would accept who they are. I mean, not like at that time, 60s, 70s, people didn't have the liberty of going to colleges and getting degrees, and people were still doing good. People were still doing amazing in their lives, and they were happy. They were much more happier compared to who we are right now. Right now, we have all the facilities, and yet we're not happy. And back then, people had the least amount of things, and people were still happy and content with what they had.
But again, I think it's part of what we need to also look at individually.
Yes,
Have we lost, do we know what our purpose is as individuals?
yes,
If you live a life where you don't know what your purpose is, and the only driving factor for you is perhaps to have that 15-year-old whiskey or to drive that Mercedes or X G-Wagon or whatever it is, or to wear that pair of shoes with a red heel and a red undersole. If that's your life purpose, then perhaps you need to refocus and rethink about what you're doing in life, isn't it?
absolutely. I completely
Because
agree.
how long does material things make you happy?
Uh, exactly. That's very true. Not long. 15 minutes a day, maybe a month. Even if you buy a new car, you'll be excited to drive it for the first 1 week. And then eventually, after 1 week, you're going to get used to that thing and it's going to become old anyway.
Yeah.
So
And then
that,
you're going to say, oh, there's a new one come out, a new model.
yes,
Am I
yes,
going to change
that
it to a new
cycle doesn't
model?
stop until you put a brake to it somewhere.
Correct.
Absolutely. So now that you did answer another question that I wanted to ask you of why men don't talk about it, but I think you answered that question. Going on to my last question, hopefully, is that why do leaders, whether it be a woman or a man, don't come out openly and talk about their mental health, or for that matter, I think even physical health, they hardly really talk about it, especially if it's a terminal illness, I presume so. Um, but I think mental health, because I don't know, I had a video of somebody who went through sexual violence, and but because and that led to her having mental health issues, but she couldn't talk about it for the mere reason up until 2 years 3 years ago, because she was a leader, and she still kind of says that people look at her that with the eyes that I'm not allowed to talk about me being not mentally okay because I'm a leader.
Well, again, boils down to what we spoke about around men and mental health. It is what we've attached to what our idea of what a leader or a CEO or somebody in position of authority has to be. They've got
Yes,
to be these super strong, put together, 100% all the time in control people who don't have, who we forget, on the other hand, are also human beings and face the same things that you and I face at different levels.
definitely. Yes, that's
So,
true.
stigma has to be this thing about stigma around positioning yourself as the leader, whether you're a leader in a family or a leader of an organization, always having to be 100% strong all the time, showing up, stoic, emotionless has to stop.
Yes, definitely.
Above all else, we're human beings.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that is exactly why it's important to have such conversations where people, talk about things openly. And I think personally, I don't have any shame in saying that I've had my set of anxieties. I've gone through some shit phases in my life, and but I did come out of it because I managed to recognize that yes, I need to do something about it. I need to do something for my well-being. Whereby even last week I spoke about a situation where I was in, where I was so exhausted that it started affecting my mental health, where I started becoming so negative. I had to get myself back up. And I think it's okay to talk about it in today's world, especially in today's world. I think it's more important to talk about it. So I think I've had a great conversation with you, Prashna. Thank you for being here.
Thank
And
you.
I'm hoping that people talk more about these kind of things more often now.
All
Thank you
right.
so
Thanks so
much.
much. Bye.
Bye. See you. So I hope you guys enjoyed this particular video, because I really enjoyed delivering it to you. So I will see you guys in the next one. Of course, I haven't decided the topic, but I will see you guys in the next one. Hopefully soon, and I will try and get somebody else also on my show. Not on my show. Is it on a show? No, on my channel, to speak about something else. So till then, bye everybody. See you.